Hail and welcome back to Arcade Spirits. I'm Agent of Mischief. Let's jump back in. Slowly, very slowly, I open my eyes. Soft beeping of monitoring greets me, as well as an angel in white. Well, an angel in a white lab coat. Well, they're no heavenly being. They do appear to be my doctor, armed with nothing more than a clipboard. I'm still a little hazy as they briefly explain the situation. Thanks to my wild theatrics, I startled the shooter enough that her bullet missed its intended target. And instead it went into my leg, which hurt like bleep, but apparently resulted in a surprisingly clean shot that I'll recover from in a few weeks easily. 2 days in the hospital, a week or two on crutches, some limping that'll be back to 100%. And more importantly, nobody died. I can live with this momentary pain if someone else gets to live, period. So, could have been better, could have been worse. The doctor, having given me the report, leaves to treat their other patients. But before they do, they inform me I have a visitor. At least there's a plus side. I just wonder who it is. Percy walks in, his head held high. He's trying to hold it in, trying not to cry. I... Confound it all, what in the bloody hell were you thinking, jumping in front of a gun like that? How could you throw your life away like that? How could you... You noble fool. A noble fool I love so dearly. A noble fool who I thought for one terrible moment that I'd lost forever. Percy,
Please, hear me out. I've made a decision. I am no stranger to grief. You know this. I've felt loss. I've felt pain. I'd like to think that if you were to leave my arms, I could shoulder the burden and carry on. I've had to do it before. When I lost my dear little sister, it was a considerable burden to bear. But I fear losing you would have broken me. Completely. I love you with all of my heart. Even the part of my heart that seeks my destruction. I can't help myself. I don't want to love this much. It would be easier, wouldn't it? A simple, light-hearted love, one which could let go when the time comes to let go. Understanding that it will be fleeting. Accepting that. But that's not the truth, is it? I love you deeply. And I cannot deny that. Today was proof. If you were gone, a piece of me would have gone with you. I couldn't bear it. So, I've decided. I'm going to accept my doctor's treatment.
fucking good. I was hoping that's where we were getting to. Thank you. Thank you for actually trying to help yourself, bro.
Because making you shoulder the pain of losing me is selfish. It's unfair to make you have to feel even a tiny bit of the way I felt today.
So, it seems I'm going to have to live after all. No way around it. Assuming you can forgive me for my outburst of utter foolishness, that is. I'm glad you're choosing life, Percy, and I've no doubt that your sister would want you to choose life as well. There's no need to die in her honor. You have a high score to achieve in her honor instead, right? And then a brilliant and long life to enjoy, also in her honor. So if you decide you want to try the treatments, I'll be behind you every step of the way and beyond. I love you, and I want to be with you for a very, very long time. Raven,
As would I.
Yes, this is what I want. I want to be with you for as long as I can.
Well,
Now, a treatment isn't a cure. I wasn't lying about that. There's still a chance it won't work, but it's a chance I'm ready to take. However many years I have, be they short or long, I'll happily spend them by your side. And in front of Mr. Moopy.
why?
Yes, well, that goes without saying. He sighs, letting all this weight off his chest. A little poke at his game-playing habits helped lighten his mood, but not entirely. I was being something of a prat to mind, so focused on punishing myself that I couldn't see how I was hurting others. You can forgive me, but I was quite cross with Mum and Dad, unfairly so considering they've already lost a daughter. I'll call them tonight, start to patch things up, I promise. And, how about once I'm finished the first round of treatments, we head on up to jolly old England, meet the folks, you and I. An international trip? I've never left this coast, much less this country. Sounds good. Sounds good here, but we'll need to make arrangements. Passport converts the money into pounds. Have plenty of clean underwear, things like that. Huh. I'll leave all that to you. I tend to just toss a few things in a bag and go. I travel light.
Well, it's been a funny sort of day, hasn't it?
We have a lot of work to do to clear things up at the arcade, pave the way to this bright future we apparently now have together. But I know you can do it. I'll see you bright and early, or whenever your doctor lets you leave, I suppose. Thanks, Percy. Love ya. And I you. Seeing the person I care for the most was certainly a boon to my spirit. Now, if they could only do something about the food here. My heart calmed, my body finally tells me it's exhausted. I snuggle into the covers as a yawn escapes me. Just as I'm about to roll over and drift off to sleep, another visitor drops in. It's likely well past visiting hours, but with a small amount of both dread and relief, I'm glad to see her. Mixcator, a word if you will. I try to straighten myself up from my pillow backrest, and put on my professional front, even if I'm in excruciating pain. Oh, okay, I start by explaining that what happened today isn't exactly indicative of... I should hope it was. It's hard to disguise the disbelief on my face. What? It seems I've misjudged your character based on an initial unpleasant interaction, but what I saw today, clearly you were no fool nor a coward. I let my need to protect my family override my better judgment. How absurd to paint everything you've built at Francine's Arcade Spirits with that brush all over such a small matter. I saw you selflessly throw yourself in front of that bullet. You didn't have to do that. You chose to do that. It's indicative of someone who isn't simply in this for the money, as so many in this industry are. While I'm uncertain why you protected that young criminal, I suppose someone who respects life deeply enough to even protect someone like her is to be respected. I suppose I've become a bit jaded from all those eager to cash in on the arcade scene. All the large-scale arcades I have to review tend to be very impersonal and cold. So, you were impressed with our arcade? Well, let's not go that far. I can't say I was thrilled with the amount of mayhem and disaster going on, even before a gang war broke out. But I will say, I've only ever seen that amount of mayhem and disaster once before. It's highly unusual, to say the least. Last time I reviewed a small up-and-coming arcade similar to yours, everything went wrong. Everything. I wrote my review in an honest fashion, and as a result of my scathing pen, the place was sold and closed down within a month. Sold to a notable figure in the industry. Wait, you don't mean... Yes, Dekonami. Such is the fate of any arcade which dares to stand up to him. Your prior business, the Funplex, only escaped being devoured by being far too small to be worthwhile. Sadly, your enthusiasm may put it in his crosshairs, and if you cannot tidy up your reputation after today's affairs, Francine's Arcade Spirits will be next. Again and again, torn down by Dekonami. This time you didn't even have to lift a finger. By pure coincidence, the ghosts and monsters wrecked everything before he could exact any revenge. All he had to do was swoop in and buy out what's left of our dreams. However, I have come to a decision. Given I was the first-hand witness to your troubles, which is clearly not your fault, and given your willingness to put even your own life on the line for your arcade, I'm going to tell my editor I need more time, that I want to return in 1 week to get a more accurate and mature overview of your operation. 1 week, that's the best I can offer you. It's a difficult hole to climb out of, Mixcator. Even aside from earlier trouble, having a gang fight and a shooting transpire in an arcade, well, the press will feed on this, even if I was the only press present and accounted for. They'll dig and they'll speculate and they'll chew on your bones. If your arcade survives that initial onslaught, I hope to write a proper review which can lay those concerns to rest. But I'll offer you no more second chances, no more reasonable doubts. Best foot forward when I return, or my readers will know the truth. Understood? Understood. Then I'll leave you to your recuperation. The curtain nods, she turns and leaves the room, leaving me with my thoughts. 1 week. I've got exactly 1 week to completely rebuild our reputation and clear the good name of Francine's Arcade Spirits. Otherwise, it's game over for all of us. You've cleared level 7 of Arcade Spirits. A winner is you. Now let's see your score. You're proving to be level-headed, rational, and honest. Great. Also, you've scored 24,050 points. Woohoo! And now, let's have one last pizza fact. 62% of Americans prefer meat topping on their pizza, while 38% prefer vegetarian. Everybody loves different kinds of pizza, and that's a beautiful thing. Do you want to save your game before proceeding to drumroll, please? The final level? Yes. Now, I doubt we're going to be completing the final level, but let us play part of it. At least part of it. It is a distant future year 20 bleep, and, oh, who am I kidding? I'll be lucky to make it to 20 bleep plus 1 at this rate. I've had my strand of fate twisted back and forth so often it feels like it could snap at any moment. Mired in depression and a supposed family curse, and lifted up by my amazing time in the Funplex, slammed back down by Dekonami, raised up again by the Francine's Arcade Spirits project, and now descending farther due to a series of bad coincidences culminating in a Pier 6 brawl in which I got shot. But today I'm back to Francine's Arcade Spirits and ready to work despite being on crutches. Normally I have to mentally filter out the beeps and boots of a busy arcade, but not today. Aside from our regulars, nobody's here. Not exactly the sight I wanted to see on my grand return after heroically taking a bullet to the leg. We're 3 days into this ambitious experiment and it's already looking like a bust. Even with a reprieve from Ms. Defame, we couldn't hush the event up completely. The news of gang violence at a local arcade spread over social media like wildfire. Gavin had filled me in on all the details I missed while I was passed out. By the time the cops got here, both gangs were long gone, and the ghost machines wiped our security footage on the way out the door. No arrests made, no evidence remaining. The only plus side? Sue and her ghost monsters apparently never came back. But even without them actively causing problems, that single day managed to smash our reputation. It's just so... This entire situation is completely bleeped up. I'd put my fist through a wall in rage if not for the fact that I have to pay for dry roll replacement myself. Those damn kids and their gangland throwdown ruined everything. Even without Defame's nuclear review looming over us, we're still losing. I don't honestly know how we could recover from this. If we could only get the good word out somehow, correct this PR disaster. Seated behind the ticket desk with my crutches propped up nearby, light duty only for a week minimum. Doctor's orders. I tried to mentally detangle this mess. Hey Iris, are we? Yes, we're still trending negatively on social media. Like the last 7 times you asked. Any luck with our security camera footage then? Anything we could give to the police? It might help our public image to have someone to point blame at. Nope. It's totally wiped and my file recovery systems failed. I guess that's to be expected when going up against cyber criminals. Like they've even avoided bad press from the shooting. I haven't spotted the word ghost monsters in any of the articles I've found about the attack. It's like they're ghosts. Well, not literally ghosts, I just mean they clear their tracks very effectively. Yeah, got that. We did see them in their corporeal form, remember? At least that whole mess seemed to be behind us. Now we just need to dig our way out of this hole. I sigh heavily as the burden sinks into my lungs, and before I can groan further, I hear footsteps approaching me. I lock my phone and pocket it before seeing who it is. Even being down in the dumps, Percy's presence somehow managed to lift my spirits a little. I'm glad to have him by my side. I smile as he walks towards me.
Hello.
Hello, Raven. Good to see you up and about. I'm up but hardly about. I'll probably be glued to the stool all day long. Yes, well, it beats the alternative, doesn't it? Plus, you got a nice view of the whole arcade, although a bit quiet in here today, isn't it? Yeah, I know, but we can turn this around. I know we can turn this around. Right, well, I don't mean to be a bother, but I wanted to talk to you about our financial situation. Seeing as I'm bankrolling this affair and such. As soon as you mentioned some money, my chest tightens and I expect the worst. It's not an unreasonable thing to bring up, but how can I deal with more bad news? I may have more than my fair share of wealth, but it's not bottomless. Honestly, you could see the bottom even before I put my stake at Francine's Arcade Spirits.
Well,
Gavin and I have been going over the spreadsheets and at our current rate, well, I'm afraid we only have so much padding before we have to start considering options. Options like selling. I don't want to, believe me, but there's going to be a breaking point where we need to consider pulling out before our initial investment cannot be recovered. If only to ensure everybody involved in this affair doesn't go bankrupt. Not my stomach turns. The idea of completely draining Percy's finance as well. His plan for that money was to turn it over to charity upon his death. Even if his treatments worked and he survived, we ended up homeless together or something. Something of grim thought, isn't it? Let's not dwell on the negative, shall we? No point giving up the fight so soon after it begins. What we need is a plan for how we shall turn these ill fortunes around. What are our next steps? Next steps? I can barely take a step with these crutches. Honestly, I'm not sure what we do. I need time to think. By all means, think away. And if all else fails, well, at least you've still got your health. Ah, hold that thought. We've got a customer. Hello, welcome to. Good morning. I think I'll be moving along now. Moopy to play and all. Remember your health, Raven, and try to avoid stress in the next few minutes. I stood there in silence and shock. I tried telling myself this was just a bad fever dream for my wound, but no such luck. This was 100% real. I watched as Deco takes an eye around the arcade, his smug grin ever present. I see his eyebrows arch as he takes note of all the people, or rather the lack of people here playing games.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
Can't say I'm surprised in the slightest. Why would anyone want to come to such a mediocre arcade when the premium Deco's Palace experience is available to them? I'd estimate you have, maybe a month at best before you close down. I'm looking forward to purchasing this land. Maybe I'll make it a fun zone, or just a parking lot. Yes, a parking lot. And I shall call it the Cater Memorial Parking Lot. It would be a fitting tribute. I'm not dead yet. You opened an arcade in the middle of gang territory. It's a reasonable assumption you'll collect a few more bullets along the way. Nope, I can't handle this, not today. What do you want, Mr. Nami? If you need tokens, the chain machine's over there.
A pity, is it not?
Tokens, how quaint. Still no swipe cards, eh? Sadly, I'm not here to play any of your antiques. Rather resembles a 1980 bleep junkyard in here, doesn't it? All these obsolete games that no one truly cares about.
No. I'm here to make one final offer. This is against my better judgment, given the bad blood between us. But let it not be said that Deco Nami is an unforgiving or cruel person.
Are you sure about that, Broseph? Because you seem like an absolute dick to me.
If you sign over ownership of this arcade to me, I'll spare your careers. Yes, even Miss Fairchild and Miss Wolf. I'm sure I can find something for them to do at one of my facilities. You should count yourself lucky I'm even willing to do this. You get an opportunity few others who cross me are ever offered. If you don't agree to my terms, I'll stand idle and watch as everything burns down around you. You have my word on that.
Okay, obviously I want to say no to this fabulous offer, but at what point do I count my losses? Miss Francine believed in dreams, but she also believed in practicality and trade-offs. I'm ready to give up everything so that I have something resembling a future. Of course I'm not giving up. I mean, seriously, I had so many opportunities to jump ship prior to this. Why would I bail this close to the end? Every time you ask, the answer will remain the same. Absolutely not. You can ask a dozen or more times, and my resolve will not change. This is the path I've laid out for myself, and I'm going to walk it to the end. You think I'm ruining my future? That remains to be seen, and I will see it through. Ah, well. That's unfortunate, with your decision to make, of course. Your own life to ruin with your stubbornness.
So be it.
I guess I'll just have to settle for buying the burnt-out husk of your business once it ultimately collapses around you. I think you underestimate the damage being associated with the criminal element can do, Mixcator. It's enough to ruin even the mightiest of arcades. Oh, and I doubt the ghost monsters have forgotten you. They will return, and they will make matters far worse for you. And immediately I take notice. Play it cool, don't let on, just test the waters. Really, ghost monsters. I thought that gang was called Lovely Chainsaw or something.
A foolish fool.
Yes, ghost monsters. Sadly, they insist on naming themselves after that absurd ancient video game reference. Of all the childish, immature... He shakes it off quickly enough, refocusing on me. But enough banter. I believe I'll take my leave. I'll not see you again, Mixcator. I'll let my lawyers handle purchasing what little will remain of yous. Good day. Once he's out of earshot and well beyond of the confines of the arcade, I pull out my phone to verify something. Iris, you checked all the news articles about the shooting, right? Oh, yes, I've analyzed them all. Do you need me to pull up a specific one? Just confirm something for me. The ghost monsters were never mentioned by name in any of them, right? Yes, it seems Sue's friends are good at covering their tracks. Why? This is it. This is the chance we need. Admittedly, it's a slim chance, but at this point I'll take what I can get. Message everybody. I'm calling another Wake to Revenge conspiracy.
Hooray!
Ooh, you're all fired up. Okay, message is sent. I'll need everyone's help to fill in gaping holes in my plan, but at least now I have a plan. It's time for one last ditch effort to save Francine's arcade spirits. Packing everybody into the employee break room proved tricky. Standing room only, elbow to elbow, but somehow we managed it.
Hi!
Hi, everybody. Glad I could be here for this, whatever this is. Thanks for coming, Juniper. This was it. This is where we make our last stand. I looked around the room at everyone, at all my friends, and nodded to each of them determinedly. Okay, I know things are rough, but I've got, let's say, a good 60 to 80% of a plan for how we can turn things around. Like, we can all agree what happened wasn't our fault, yes? Someone else screwed us all over. Every problem we face can be traced back to them. The ghost monsters and lovely chainsaw may be to blame, but the court of public opinion puts the blame squarely on our shoulders. Our venue is tainted by their actions. We can cry foul all we like, but if there's even a chance of violence returning to our doorstep, it'll keep customers away. It's a real bummer. We haven't seen any families here since opening day. Parents just aren't willing to take their kids somewhere that's known for being dangerous. Actually, I wasn't talking about the gangs. Today I learned who our true enemy is. That person is Dekonami.
Pardon me?
Pardon? Dekonami? I don't follow. Yes, I'm rather miffed over what happened with the Funplex, but he's hardly to blame for our current woes, right? Earlier, when he was taunting me, he slipped, mentioning the ghost monsters by name. Except those hackers kept their noses clean. They left us with no proof that they were even involved, thanks to our security cameras being wiped. The cops didn't go after them. The news didn't identify them. So, how did Dekonami know about them? Answer, Deco hired the ghost monsters to ruin our opening day.
What?
What? Seriously?
Hmm.
In hindsight, it should have been obvious. I blame myself for not seeing it sooner. Far too many coincidences to be otherwise, and the fact that they only started wreaking havoc once Mrs. Defame showed up to bear witness. I can see what you're throwing down, Raven. Sue and her friends didn't seem awful at first. I remember talking to Clyde. They were very nice and friendly. And then Mrs. Defame showed, and... Oh my gosh, wait, do you think Mrs. Defame is involved? Considering she was willing to hold back her review, I don't think she's knowingly involved. But Deco may have gotten wind that she'd be showing up and took advantage.
What if?
But you don't think... Deco wouldn't stoop that low, right? Hiring some random street gang to mess with us, would he? Oh, he would. He's a spiteful bastard. Of course he'd try to ruin our opening day. The only reason he didn't destroy Miss Francine was out of some weird sort of gentlemanly respect for a fellow elder business owner. But to Dekonami, Raven is basically pawn scum. Thanks? To be fair, I doubt he orchestrated the bullet-riddled finale of the evening. That pushes plausibility. True, he wouldn't have even needed a shooting to ruin us. A negative review alone would have done the job. Being even slightly associated with the gang would have been awful. If Mrs. Defame reported us as a hotbed of teenage chaos, a living reenactment of Lord of the Flies, it spelled doom without bullets flying around. I guess we're lucky she held her review back. The problem is, we have no proof of this, do we? No way to tie Deco back to the ghost monsters other than him slipping up and mentioning them to Raven. I doubt he'd ever admit to this on the record. Iris hasn't been able to dig up any digital evidence, although there's our eyewitness testimony, which should be able to warrant some investigation. For some reason, that doesn't seem to be enough for the police. I know a few of the local cops and how they think. If they're not looking into ghost monsters, odds are they're actually looking into the ghost monsters quietly. Which admittedly doesn't help us in clearing our name. And it's too much to hope that Deco simply confesses to orchestrating the incident which ruined us.
Come on!
Ugh, that slimy bastard's not getting away with this. I'll beat the truth out of him if I have to. As amusing as that would be, I wouldn't suggest it, love. We need to be smart about this and undermine him rather than take the direct approach. You mentioned having most of a plan, Raven. Care to elaborate? Well, if Deco won't confess his sins, we need the next best thing. We need his henchmen to flip on him. See, I sensed some tension from Deco with the ghost monsters. He called them childish and immature. There may be some bad blood between them. How about we break up their partnership? My plan is to track down the ghost monsters, get them to turn on their employer, and confess their crimes. Once the media hears it from Sue herself that the incident was all thanks to Deco's scheming, it'll clear the good name of Francine's arcade spirits. This plan is foolproof. I'm answered with a myriad of blank stares and blinks. Don't everybody congratulate me all at once now. Okay, so this isn't really me criticizing, but your plan, kinda sucks. You want us to track down a bunch of hackers we already can't find and then ask them politely to betray the guy who's paying them a lot of money? Between this and the shooting, I'm worried your health insurance premiums are about to go through the roof, Raven. That's why I said it was maybe 60% of a good plan. Look, we don't have a lot of options, people. Right now, the only ones who can save us are the ones who've ruined us, Deco and Sue. I'm confident that if I can find Sue and talk to her, I can get her to see reason. That's true. Raven was willing to give them another chance and hear out their side of the things before. Sue really seems to like Francine's arcade spirits. If there's some disagreement between her and Deco about our arcade, that could be why. Exactly. I think I can get through to her if I try. Hinges on our ability to find Sue. Find an unfindable bunch of ghosts, ones Iris can't even track down. And that's where you all come in. All options on the table. I want to hear your ideas for how we find Deco's hired goons. Let's fill in the other 40% of my plan and make this happen. And awkward glances back and forth are all I get in return. I get why they're concerned. This is slimmest of hopes, narrowest of margins. I'm asking them to follow me in a hunch. But I know this can be done. I know I can get Sue to give us the dirt we need to clear our name. Heck, some days it feels like all I do is talk my way through problems. If that's my one special skill, I'm going to rely on it for this final conflict. Now, if we could just find her. For that, I need their help, and that means I need to motivate them like a true leader would. I look around and I see the best and brightest the arcade world has to offer. Engineers, thinkers, problem solvers, brilliant minds. Deco is ruled by his spite and his bitterness. We can be smarter than that, better than that. We can find a way to turn his weaknesses against him. Find an unfindable gang? I think we can do it. Unseen arcade tyrant? I know we can do it. All I need from you is take this seriously and lend me your aid. Work the problem with me. Are you ready? You know it. I've solved cosplay challenges before. Solving this will be a piece of cake. Obviously, I'm ready and willing to take on this task. You need only ask. It'll be a complicated dance, but I'm willing to step to the beat of success. Everybody nods in agreement, and I can see even some smiles start to appear. We're all on board. Now to just determine the how of the plan. Decision, finding the ghost monsters.
Perhaps.
At risk of stating the obvious, why don't we talk to the police about this? They've proven unhelpful so far, but we could go down to the station and fully explain our situation. We may be able to gain the information we need. I feel this would be a reasonably steady course of action. I'm not certain about showing up and just asking for them to open their files to us, but you're correct. The police would have the information we need. Except cybercrime is a sticky situation. You have to control leaks. If they're looking into the ghost monsters, they won't just tell us outright. The key is to talking to the right people. I know most of the cops at Ben and Matt's Donut Shop by name, and I know one friendly officer that'll help us.
Nope, no way.
Why get the cops involved? We already know someone who's got an axe to grind against Sue and her buddies, or rather, a chainsaw.
Ooh.
That's right, Queen Bee. We can ask the lovely Chainsaw Gang. They'll be easier to find and would probably be thrilled to divulge all the dirt they have on the ghost monsters. Or they'll cover us up with switchblades. Could go either way. I'll admit this is a super gutsy move, but if we pull it off, we don't need to involve the authorities at all. This whole situation's a bit too sticky for my liking. Cops and robbers? No thank you. Although the alternative I'm about to suggest may be stickier still. Raven first met the ghost monsters at Deco's palace, yes. They're regulars there. So we investigate Deco's palace to find someone who knows Sue and her mates. We can find a good friend of hers and make them understand why we need to speak with Sue. Well, we're already on somewhat good terms with Sue, thanks to Raven remaining diplomatic about all of this. We should keep that going. I'm pretty sure if I showed my face at Echo's Palace, it'd get me mashed into paste by his private security goons. But my face wouldn't. Deco doesn't know me. I was Funplex adjacent rather than a Funplex regular. You know, I think the last time I set foot in a Deco's Palace was years ago, so I could wander freely with Juniper. Yeah, we could slip in and ask around about Sue without anybody even noticing. I'd say this kindly strategy is an honest appeal to those who may know her. What could be more cordial?
Definitely.
She's got a single friend in that place, I'll find them. It's a daring mission in enemy territory, but for you, Raven, I'll do it. What are you looking at me for? I don't have any ideas. I mean, well, you could try Googling for her accounts. I'm reasonably sure Iris already tried that. Iris? Yep. I even used Yahoo, Bing, AltaVista, and Webcrawler. I have no idea what half of those are. Okay, but that's not what I meant. I mean checking online forums for arcade enthusiasts. She loves arcades, right? She may have an account there. I've been rejoining online communities lately to try to open up to like-minded folks and socialize a bit more on my own terms. She's gotta be lurking in one of those places. Oh wait, I know. If we can't passively search for her, we can actively call her out. As much as I hate internet trolls, they do get results. If we taunt the ghost monsters online, well, I'm positive Sue's the sort of person who looks herself up constantly, right?
The winner is you.
Of course, and with my help, we can establish fake accounts to spread the message so far and wide that she can't miss it. I suggest we use a public internet access point to keep it from being tracked back to Francine's Arcade Spirits. Ooh, road trip. Road trip. I can know from Gavin wincing at this that he's not a fan, but he's not a fan of Iris in general, so.
Work.
I like this plan, Miss Naomi. It's pretty quirky, but it might just work. Well, I did say I wanted options. Involving the cops after all the semi shitty things we've done is risky. So is provoking a rival gang of armed hooligans. So is infiltrating Deco's Palace. So is... Okay, posting a few troll messages isn't that risky, given how many social media companies actually adore trolls and nurture them for advertising dollars, but it could annoy Sue. What's the best path forward? Before I can decide, Juniper raises her hand. All of these sound great, but Raven, you're still recovering from an injury. The less moving around you do, the more likely you'll heal nice and quick. You can't go gallivanting around the city chasing down rumors about the ghost monsters today. I'm just on crutches. I'm not an iron lung or anything. I'm still mobile. Light duty only. Doctor's orders, remember? But I have a solution for this conundrum. It's simple and super effective. Let us do this for you. You've had to tackle all these problems since joining the Funplex by yourself. Why not step back and let us handle this one? Well, okay, but I need to be there when we finally confront Sue. Well, you're out and about. I guess I'll get some rest so I'm ready for tonight. Sound good? Sounds good. These are my friends. I trust them entirely, and I trust that each of these options will work for getting us what we need. So now the only question is, which plan do I want to give my Raven seal of approval? Okay, so in previous playthroughs, I've done this, and I've done this. I'm not keen about going to the police, even though that's a steady option, so let's troll the internet as Naomi and Iris. Calling out Sue on the internet is risky, but we're more likely to reach out to her in a virtual world than the real one. It's worth a shot. Naomi, I'm going to loan you my Iris account password. Just install the free app and log in as me and it should work. Got it. I'll pick up the arcade community she's most likely to visit and ask around about her. And I'll help Naomi get the word out quickly and safely so she isn't at risk. We'll use a public access point and stuff. You sure you don't want me along for this? You need to rest up if you're going to be peg-legging around a criminal hideout tonight. Okay, good luck, you two. Roger, Roger. You can count on me. Okay, I think we're gonna leave things here. My throat is super dry. I don't know if I can continue. If you're enjoying the game so far, if you're enjoying the series, if you're enjoying my voices, what have you, it would be great if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons. It will really help me in getting my journey to monetizing my videos. And yeah, it would be super helpful. It would also be great if you could leave a comment if you want to talk about Percy's route, if you want to talk about your favorite route, what have you. Yeah. Try not to get too spoilery in the comments in case other people haven't played the game yet. But, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.